You're wasting hours on tasks ChatGPT could handle better. OpenAI just dropped GPT 5.2 yesterday, and the benchmarks are wild. This isn't a small update. This is OpenAI's response to Google crushing them last month. They called a code red internally, rushed this release forward by weeks, and what they shipped might change how you work. Let me show you what's actually different. Hey everyone, Ava here. OpenAI released GPT 5.2 on December 11th, that's yesterday, and I've been digging through the benchmarks all morning. The performance jumps are significant, but more importantly, there are real workflow changes that matter. Not just bigger numbers on tests nobody understands, actual improvements to how the model thinks and executes tasks. So let's break down what changed, what got better, and what you can actually do with this that you couldn't do before. First thing you need to know, GPT 5.2 comes in 3 versions now: Instant, Thinking, and Pro. Each one built for different use cases. Instant is your fast version, when you need quick answers. Thinking is the reasoning model. It takes longer but works through complex problems step by step. And Pro is their most capable model, the one that supposedly performs at expert human level on professional tasks. This tiered approach is new. Before you just had one model with different settings. Now you pick the right tool for the job. And here's where it gets interesting. OpenAI tested GPT 5.2 against actual industry professionals. The benchmark is called GDP-Val. It measures performance on knowledge work tasks across 44 occupations. Things like creating spreadsheets, building presentations, writing legal briefs, engineering blueprints, real work products, not just answering trivia questions. When I first started using these advanced AI models for real work, I was completely overwhelmed. There are so many different tools, different settings, different approaches. I didn't know which workflows actually saved time versus which ones just wasted it. That's when I found this community called AI Profit Boardroom. 1,800 members all focused on learning AI together and sharing what actually works. It taught me which features matter, which ones are just hype. The community shares real use cases and practical implementations. People post their actual workflows, what's working for them, what isn't. If you're serious about using AI to improve your work and build better skills, check it out, link in description. Back to GPT 5.2. Thinking beat or tied top industry professionals on 70.9% of these tasks. That's the first time any AI model has hit expert-level performance on this benchmark. And it did these tasks at 11 times the speed and less than 1% of the cost. This isn't just incremental improvement. This is a different category of capability. Let me show you the math and science numbers because they're honestly shocking. On AI Me 2025, that's a prestigious high school math competition. GPT 5.2, Thinking scored 100%. Perfect score. First model ever to do that. No tools, just reasoning. GPT 5.1 was at 94% just a month ago. That 6% gap might sound small, but these are extremely hard problems, the kind that stump most humans. Then there's frontier math. This benchmark uses unsolved problems at the frontier of mathematics, not textbook exercises, actual research-level problems. GPT 5.1. Thinking solved 31% of Tier 1 through 3 problems. GPT 5.2, Thinking jumped to 40.3%. That's almost a 10% absolute gain. And according to OpenAI's own statement from their blog, these are problems that stump many human specialists. So we're watching AI capability push into territory that used to require PhD-level expertise. For science questions, there's GPQA Diamond, graduate-level questions across physics, chemistry, and biology, designed to be Google-proof. You can't just search for the answers. GPT 5.2 Pro scores 93.2%. GPT 5.2 Thinking hits 92.4%. GPT 5.1 was at 88.1%. Gemini 3 Pro sits at 91.9%. Claude Opus 4.5 is at 87%. So GPT 5.2 is leading the pack right now, not by a massive margin, but it's ahead. Now, let's talk about coding, because this is where a lot of people will feel the difference immediately. The benchmark is SWE Bench Pro, real-world software engineering tasks across 4 programming languages, not just Python. You give the model a code repository and a problem. It has to generate a patch that solves it. GPT 5.2 thinking scored 55.6%. That's state of the art right now. Claude Opus 4.5 is at 52%. Gemini 3 Pro is at 43.3%. Companies like Cognition, Warp, and JetBrains tested it early. They're reporting measurable improvements in interactive coding, code reviews, and bug finding. Abstract reasoning got a huge boost too. There's a benchmark called ARC AGI 2. It tests fluid reasoning on novel problems, not pattern matching on stuff you've seen before. Pure logic and abstraction. GPT 5.1 thinking scored 17.6%. GPT 5.2 thinking jumped to 52.9%. That's a 300% improvement. Gemini 3 Pro is at 31.1%. Claude Opus 4.5 is at 37.6%. So GPT 5.2 more than doubled Gemini's score here. This suggests something fundamental changed in how the model handles abstract problem solving. For vision tasks, ScreenSpot Pro tests, GUI screenshot understanding. Can the model look at an interface and understand what's happening? GPT 5.2 thinking scores 86.3%. GPT 5.1 thinking was at 64.2%. That's a 22-point jump. For scientific figure interpretation, Char-Shiv reasoning shows GPT 5.2 at 88.7% versus 80.3% for GPT 5.1. These vision improvements matter if you're working with data visualizations, charts, or any visual information. Tool use got significantly better. There are 2 benchmarks here, Tau 2Bench Retail and Tau 2Bench Telecom. They test how well models use tools in customer support scenarios. For retail, GPT 5.2 thinking with extra high reasoning scored 82%. For telecom, it hit 98.7%. That's basically perfect. GPT 5.1 was scoring in the 40s and 50s on some of these. The improvement suggests GPT 5.2 can handle multi-step tool calling workflows much more reliably. If you're looking to dive deeper into AI tools and actually implement them in your work, I recommend AI Profit Boardroom. Over 1,800 people learning how to use AI effectively. Everyone shares real experiences. What's working, what's not. Which tools are worth your time, which ones to skip. No hype, just solid information and practical guidance from people doing the work. It's helped me stay on top of updates like this GPT 5.2 release and figure out how to actually apply them. The community breaks down benchmarks, tests new features, shares workflows. Link in description if you want to check it out. For developers building on the API, this is another reminder to stay flexible. Model capabilities keep changing. Build systems that can adapt. Use evals to catch regressions. Don't assume better benchmarks mean better performance on your specific task. Test everything. The AI landscape is moving fast. GPT 5.2 is OpenAI's response to competitive pressure. It's strong, but Gemini 3 is strong too. Claude is strong. The gap between frontier models is narrowing, which is good. Competition drives progress, but it also means you can't just pick one tool and ignore everything else. You need to stay aware of what's available, what's getting better, where each one excels. That's where community becomes valuable. Sharing information, testing things, reporting what works. AI Profit Boardroom has been that for me, a place where people actually use these tools for real work. Not just hype and demos, real implementations, real problems, real solutions. If that sounds useful, check the link in description. GPT 5.2 is here. It's better than GPT 5.1 in measurable ways. Now it's on you to figure out how to use it effectively. Don't just read about benchmarks, actually try it. Build something, automate something, improve your workflow. That's how you turn capability into value. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown helped, let me know in the comments. What are you going to test first with GPT 5.2? What tasks do you want to see if it handles better? I'll be making more videos diving into specific use cases and workflows. So subscribe if you want to see those, and I'll see you in the next one.